the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 1-5 Colfax Vikings, who are 0-1 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, are getting ready to take on the 3-3 Boyceville Bulldogs, who are also 0-1 in the Dunn St. Croix. Both the Vikings and the Bulldogs participated in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic on Saturday, with the Vikings dropping their encounter with the McDonald Central Max 65-34, and the Bulldogs losing to the Thorpe Cardinals 71-66. Now, in tonight's edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Boyceville Bulldogs and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's Dunn St. Croix Conference clash between the Boyceville Bulldogs and the Colfax Vikings. The 1-5 Vikings are hoping to show improvement following their 65-34 loss to the McDonald Central Max in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic on Saturday. The Bulldogs were also in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic on Saturday, where they lost to the Thorpe Cardinals 71-66. Now, in the Vikings game against McDonald Central, the Vikings were led in scoring by 5'11" junior Aiden Fisher, who hit 4 field goals and went 2 for 2 from the free throw line for 10 points. He was followed by senior Elijah Ensminger and sophomore Orion Nichols, who each scored 7 points. Ensminger scored on 3 field goals and made his only free throw attempt, while Nichols hit on 2 field goals and went 3 for 4 from the charity stripe. The Bulldogs' leader in their game against Thorpe was 6'4" senior Grant Kaiser, who put up 22 points. He was followed by senior Nick Olson, who scored 16, and sophomore Carson Romhild, who accounted for 11 points. Now, so far this season, the Bulldogs are being led in scoring by Kaiser, who's averaging right around 18 points per game. 6'2" senior Devin Halama is also putting up double-digit scoring by averaging nearly 15 points per game. Kaiser and Halama are also the rebound leaders, averaging 11 and over 7 boards, respectively. Now, thus far this season, the Vikings are being led in scoring by Ensminger, who's averaging 14 points per game. Aiden Fisher is also scoring in double digits with an average of nearly 13 points per game. Ryan Nichols and Eli Ralph are also contributing right around 5 points per game. Leading the way rebounding for the Vikings is Blake Johnson, who's grabbing 8 boards per game, with Ryan Nichols pulling down over 7. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Noel on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Your family is your legacy. Planning for a natural disaster will make sure you're all safe. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, on Saturday, the Vikings dropped a non-conference game when they were defeated by the McDonald Central Max 65-34 in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic. What can you tell us about that game?
McDonald is super athletic. They've got a lot of kids that can shoot the ball and handle the ball, and they've got a lot of kids that play basketball all year long. They've got a nice team, and they're going to be a contender in the Clover Belt when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with what they had going. And with that, it doesn't take anything away from your guys. They just ended up against a team that was a whole lot different than them.
Yeah,
but
it is what it is, and plus we're still trying to figure out what our identity is, and part of that's the learning process that we're going through right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a work in progress. Now, in that game, the Vikings did have effective performances from Aiden Fisher and a spark coming off the bench with Orion Nichols. Your thoughts about the efforts of those two in keeping the Vikings competitive in games that they're struggling in?
Yeah, I thought they both did a solid job for us. They'll rebound, they'll defend, they'll get out and push the ball and transition. I put both of them at the free throw line against the zone, and I thought that they did some decent stuff up there, being the first time they were in that position.
Now tonight, the Vikings get back into Dunn St. Croix Conference play when they take on the Boyceville Bulldogs. What can you tell us about the Bulldogs?
Bulldogs are, they've got some football kids playing basketball, to be honest with you. They're strong, they're physical. They get after the glass. So boxing out and limiting them to one shot is going to be one of the biggest keys for us in that game. Kaiser is the man child down there. He's like my size. He's a big kid. Got soft hands. And then, Romehild is a nice player for them. They've got some seniors. They start 5 seniors. They've all been playing since their sophomore year, so they have experience. They're just physically strong kids.
Now, last year, the Vikings split with the Bulldogs, and at first blush, this appears as though this matchup is one that could be quite competitive for the Vikings. If the Vikings can control, you mentioned Grant Kaiser, and also Devin Halama, this could be a good night. What kind of adjustments do the Vikings need to make for this game?
Well, with both of them, they're very right-handed, so we've got to take away their right hand. We got to make them come back to their left where they don't want to go. With Kaiser, we need to take away the baseline so he can't just catch and drop step and use his size on us. So if we can make him come back to the middle where the help is, that would be great. Halama's, a very aggressive player offensively when he gets the ball. And he's limited with how far he can go with his left hand. So we've got to force him left, my fault, and then just try to keep him off the offensive glass.
Well, Coach Knoll, good luck on tonight's game. I think this one could be a really exciting one. Hopefully the Vikings can find a way to even up that conference record at 1-1.
Yes, it'll be great. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. Tonight we have a Dunn St. Croix Conference matchup between the Colfax Vikings and the Boyceville Bulldogs. This is just one of 4 games tonight in the Dunn St. Croix. In addition, 6 of the 8 teams in the Dunn St. Croix participated in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic last Saturday. The Glenwood City Hilltoppers defeated the Cadott Hornets in overtime 62-58. They were followed by the Elmwood Plum City Wolves over the Clear Lake Warriors 66-51. And then the Boyceville Bulldogs squared off against the Thorpe Cardinals, with the Cardinals coming out on top 71-66. The Mondovi Buffaloes took on the Osseo Fairchild Thunder, and the Thunder emerged victorious 68-31. And then the Spring Valley Cardinals were knocked off by the Unity Eagles 48-42. And the Vikings were defeated by the McDonald Central Max 65-34. In the Dunn St. Croix Conference games last Thursday, the Durand, Arkansas Panthers defeated the Vikings 55-32, while the Elk Mound Mounders crushed the Mondovi Buffaloes 67-17. It was the Glenwood City Hilltoppers edging the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 60-53, and the Spring Valley Cardinals topped the Boyceville Bulldogs 47-27. Tonight, the Dunn St. Croix Conference gets back into conference action, with the Vikings traveling to Boyceville to take on the Bulldogs, and the Durand, Arkansas Panthers host the Elk Mound Mounders. The Glenwood City Hilltoppers will go to Spring Valley to face the Spring Valley Cardinals, while the Mondovi Buffaloes will face the Elmwood Plum City Wolves in Mondovi. Tonight, the Vikings are getting ready to take on the Boyceville Bulldogs. These two teams would like to even their conference records at 1-1. Now, last year, the Vikings and the Bulldogs split the 2 games they played, as this has developed into quite a rivalry. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to our broadcast crew at Boyceville High School, where we'll bring you all the action of tonight's game between the Colfax Vikings and the Boyceville Bulldogs. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Colfax Viking Boys Basketball is on the air.
He'll pass it out to Blake Johnson. He'll take the shot for 3. Vikings.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN2, is excited to bring you Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
Swinger down inside to Hoffman. He'll drive the right side of the lane, pop it up from 6. Good.
Join us as we follow the Vikings while they battle their way through the Dunn St. Croix Conference.
Charlo out to Ensminger for three. He hits it!
And now out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking basketball.
Well, good evening and welcome to Boyceville High School. Rick Olson here along with Dan Petchow, Chris Olson on the camera. And we're getting ready to bring you Colfax Viking basketball as they take on the Boyceville Bulldogs. Both teams coming off losses in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic, and they'd sure like to straighten things out in tonight's game. So, Dan, before we go any further, why don't you let us know who's going to play?
Yeah, here's the starters for the Bulldogs tonight. They're going to go with 5'8" senior, number 4, Nick Olson. 6'2" senior, number 21, Peter Wielden. 6'2" senior, number 22, Devin Halama. 5'6" senior, number 24, Braden Romhild. And 6'4" senior, number 32, Grant Kaiser. For the Colfax Vikings, they're going to go with 5'11" junior, number 4, Aiden Fisher. 5'9" senior, number 10, Elijah Ensminger. 5'10" senior, number 15, Mason Harrington. 6 foot senior, number 23, Blake Johnson. And 6'3" senior, number 33, Eli Ralph.
Very good. And taking a quick look at the Boyceville Bulldogs in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic. Kaiser led the way, and he is one large specimen out there on the floor. As Coach called him, a man-child out there, and he's bigger than most of the men in the gym here. He led the way with 22 points. He's also leading the team in scoring with almost 18 points per game. Devin Halama with 15 points per game. And it's just about time to send it on down to the public address announcer as they're getting ready to bring us the national anthem and then their version of the starting lineups for tonight's game between the Colfax Vikings and the Boyceville Bulldogs.
Yeah, how about that? How about that, cameras?
To honor America and those defending our freedom, we ask that those who are able to stand, remove your hats, and place your hand over your heart for the playing of the national anthem.
Down to the public address.
Welcome to tonight's conference matchup between the Colfax Vikings and your hometown Boyceville Bulldogs. And now the starting lineup for the Vikings. Junior, number 4, Aiden Fisher. Senior, number 10, Elijah Krista Kittleson, and Nick Hyatt. And now the starting lineup for your hometown Bulldogs. Senior, number 4, Nicholas Olson. Senior, number 21, Peter Wielden. Senior, number 22, Devin Halama. Senior, number 24, Braden Romehill. And senior, number 32, Grant Kaiser. The Bulldogs are coached by Colby Gossett, Levi Wolf, and Brian Romehill. The officials for the evening are Jared Fern, Jeff Fern, and Stephen Pax.
And the teams are out on the floor. Eli Ralph in the center circle getting ready to jump the ball, and it looks like he's going to be jumping against Grant Kaiser. No, I take that back. Devin Halama steps into the center circle for the Bulldogs. And the ball goes up, we're underway, and the Bulldogs control the tip. This is Olson with it. He brings it up across the timeline over to the far side to Romehill. Romehill over to the near side to Halama. Then back out high and to Kaiser, then over to Halama, who puts it up and through from 3. Boyceville on top, 3-0. Vikings bring it down the floor, Ensminger on the dribble between the circles. Gets it to the elbow to Ralph, back to Ensminger. Jump shot is up, rattles around, it does not go. And Kaiser comes down with the rebound, gets it over to Olson, takes it across the timeline, feeds it to Romehill. Then over to the far side to Olson. Drives the left baseline. Doesn't have anywhere to go. Circles back out. Now he gets the ball back. Tries the baseline again. Gets it to Halama from the elbow. Puts it up and in. 5-0. Bulldogs on top.
Yeah, Kaiser's is the big kid on the team, but Halama's the kid to watch. He's an inside-out guy.
Vikings swing it over to the far side to Ralph. To Fisher, to Ralph, down to the baseline. Or check it, that's Ralph. That's Yarrington on the far side. Over to Ensminger, now back out high to Fisher, to Yarrington, to Fisher. Now to Johnson at the elbow, out to Yarrington, puts up a 3. No, it won't go down. Rebound taken down by Halama. Gets it to Olson, who brings it quickly down the floor. Feeds it over to the near side to Romehill. Then to Kaiser, tries to get it back and chased down by Romehill. Over to Halama, back to Romehill between the circles. Back to Halama on the near side. Cross court pass to Olson, puts up the 3 and he hit it. 8-0, Bulldogs on top. Bulldogs haven't missed yet, have they?
No. Yeah, they're just patient.
Yarrington feeds it over to Johnson on the far side. Up back to Yarrington at the top of the key. Over to Johnson on the right wing. Feeds it to the free throw line to Fisher. Back out to Johnson. Over to Yarrington. Swinging it back around to the left side to Ensminger. Drives down to the baseline. Kicks it back out to Yarrington. Yarrington over to Johnson. Three-pointer on the way. He hit it. Blake Johnson with the 3 gets the Vikings on the board, and we have equipment stoppage for Braden Romehill.
Yeah, that's what they need is Blake Johnson kind of getting rhythm. He's had a couple games now to come back from, and he has to get in rhythm now, rest of the season.
Olson on the dribble in the backcourt, and Sminger puts on some pressure. Johnson came across, tapped the ball, it's loose on the floor. We're going to get a whistle and a foul. And
I think it's on number 4.
And it is. It's a foul on Nick Olson. He's almost got the name right. He just has the wrong letter for his first name. Ensminger gets it over to Johnson. Back to Ensminger. Ensminger glances over at the bench, gets the directions. Now feeds it over to the left side to Yarrington. Back to Johnson. Circles into the lane. Feeds it underneath to Ralph, who lays it up and in.
Yeah, that's what we saw up in Bloomer. Good ball movement and get it into Eli Ralph.
So the Bulldogs with it. They bring it down the floor. They get it to Olson on the near side. And he stepped out of bounds. In-your-face pressure that time by Ensminger. And Olson stepped out of bounds. Ensminger crosses the timeline. Feeds it over to Johnson on the near side. Taking it back around to the far side to Fisher, coming back to the near side to Ensminger. Takes it to the top of the key.
Boys for one man.
Johnson on the right side to Fisher at the top of the key. Over to Yarrington, three-pointer on the way. No, rebound. A lot of tall timber there. Ensminger tried to go up and match with him, but he couldn't. And we have a pushing foul being called. And it's going to be on Aiden Fisher.
So that'll be his first.
And the first team foul. Each team has one. Olsen inbounds it to Romehill, to Kaiser, to Olsen, back to Kaiser at the elbow. Drives down the side of the lane, lays it up and puts it in. Kind of muscled his way in. Expect to see a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, good defense by Ralph.
Ensminger feeds it over to Johnson. Then to Yarrington, back out to Johnson. Over to Yarrington on the far side to Ralph in the corner. Gets it back out, high to Ensminger, to Johnson on the near side, back to Ensminger. Ensminger to Yarrington, high, wide, and right. Back out between the circles to Ensminger, down underneath to Ralph, turns, kicks it back out. Ensminger has it from the elbow. No, it won't go. Ralph had the rebound, gets it taken out, and we're going to get timeout call by the Boyceville Bulldogs. So with a timeout on the floor, it's Boyceville 10, Vikings 5, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Back here at Boyceville High School, the Bulldogs on top of the Vikings 10-5 with 13:20 to go in the first half. And they inbound the ball. That's to Carson Romehill. Feeds it down the floor to Halama. Back out to Carson Romehill. Turns on the left side. He's on the wing. Gets it out to Olsen between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side to Braden Romehill. And the Vikings intercept it. Ensminger on the baseline. Gets it out to Fisher. Puts up the three. It's no good. Olsen brings it down the floor for the Bulldogs. Feeds it to Kaiser. Then to Carson Romehill. He hit the three.
That's 3 threes for the Bulldogs already.
Ensminger gets it to Fisher. Out between the circles, gets it to Johnson, brings it over to the near side. Over to the far side, high, wide, and right to Yarrington, down to the right corner to Ralph. Back out to Yarrington. Then to Johnson, he's between the circles, back over to Yarrington to Ralph. Ralph just inside the arc, puts it up, it's no good. Braden Romehill with the rebound. Gets it over to Olsen on the far side. It's high, wide, and left. Over to Braden Romehill, to Carson Romehill, to Kaiser, down underneath, putting it up and in is John Madison. 15-5, Boyceville up by 10. Johnson with the ball, gets it to Yarrington. To Johnson, between the circles, over to Yarrington. Yarrington feeds it to the free throw line to Fisher. Thought about a shot? No. To Ensminger, who thought about it? No, from three. To Johnson. Johnson feeds down underneath to Ralph, who lays it up and puts it in. They left Ralph alone, and he made them pay.
Yeah, when they slow that offense down, good things happen.
15-7, and taking a shot is Halama. A shot goes up and no good. Down the floor come the Vikings. Ensminger lays it up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Fisher. Gets it out to Yarrington. Puts up a three. He hit the three. Mason Yarrington with a three-pointer. It's now 15-10. Vikings have cut it to a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs. Just under 11 minutes to go. Carson Romehill with it, feeds it down into the corner. Halama put it up, no good. Kaiser with the rebound, he put it up and in.
Yeah, big man inside, gets another easy two.
He does take up a lot of room down there, doesn't he? I hope he's paying his real estate tax. Yarrington puts it up at rims around, no good, but rebound back up and in by Eli Ralph.
6 points for him.
5-point lead again for the Bulldogs. Pass comes in to Madison, almost intercepted by the Vikings, gets it to Olsen, feeds it to Carson Romehill, then into the lane to Madison. Madison turns around, puts it up, no! Rebound taken down by Eli Ralph. Gets it out to Ensminger. Ensminger quickly down the floor, spins in the lane, puts it up, and he got fouled going up. I think it's going to be on Devin Halama. No, I take it back. It's going to be on Nick Olsen. That'll be his second.
Good start for Eli Ralph. He's got a handful to worry about down there, and he's doing a good job on 32.
And the free throw is up and good by Ensminger. 17-13. Vikings have cut it to 4. Ensminger with his second shot coming up. Ryan Nichols is in the game now for the Vikings. Second shot's up and good. 17-14. Vikings have cut it to 3. And here come the Bulldogs down the floor, and we're going to get a whistle.
Not for sure.
Owen Rydell.
He didn't come over to the bench. Maybe it was tipped.
Anyway, Boyceville inbounds the ball. Olsen has it between the circles. Takes it over to the left side. Feeds it down to Carson Romehill. Back out to Olsen. Down to Carson. Carson dribbles back out high. Cross-court pass over to Rydell. To Olsen. Olsen between the circles. Back over to Rydell. Into the lane to Kaiser. He put it up. And we're going to get an offensive foul, player control foul. Called on Grant Kaiser.
Yeah, Kaiser kind of dropped that shoulder and pushed off Eli Ralph.
And he's going to take a seat into the lineup to give him a break is Devin Halama. Vikings bring the ball down the floor. Ensminger on the dribble. He's got it between the circles. Feeds it over to the near side to Fisher. Back to Johnson at the top of the key. To Nichols. Gets it to Fisher on the left side baseline. Feeds it underneath to Ralph. Shot's no good. Halama with the rebound for the Bulldogs. And down the floor he comes. Feeds it way down to Rydell. Down into the corner to Carson Romehill. He put up the 3 and hit it.
2 threes.
20-14.
2 threes for Romehill.
Johnson feeds it over to Fisher. To the free throw line to Nichols. Nichols gets it out to Johnson. To Fisher, three-pointer on the way. He hit the 3! Aiden Fisher with the 3. Vikings answer right back. 20-17, Bulldogs on top. Olsen on the dribble. He's got it between the circles. Over to the near side. That's Halama. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Ensminger, and he knew it. Checking into the game for the Vikings is Theo Hovde, giving Johnson a bit of a break. Olsen takes a break for the Bulldogs, and coming in for him is Braden Romehill. He gets the ball, gets it right back over to Carson Romehill. Then back to Braden, back to Carson. Back to Braden. Into the lane, jump shot is no good. That was by Wielden, and the Vikings come away with it. Ensminger with it from the free throw line. He hit it. Cuts it to 1, 20-19, 8:02 to go in the first half. Wielden taking it into the lane, and he walked with it. So the Vikings have the ball, looking to maybe take a lead. Ensminger across the timeline. Picks up the pace, kicks it out to Fisher, launches a three. No, it's off the air, no good. Rebound taken down by Kaiser. We're going to get a foul on Hovde. Now that's quite the matchup. Hovde does not even come up to Kaiser's shoulder.
Yeah.
And he got in there and mixed it up with him. Theo Hovde likes to get down in the land of the Giants and mix it up down there.
He's probably one of the smallest guys on the team, and acts like he's a 6'5" guy.
Bulldogs have the ball. Braden Romehill brings it down, gets it over to Olsen, and he feeds it down the floor to Wielden, to Kaiser, and then out to Halama, puts up the shot, no good, to Braden, and it gets knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be Boyceville ball.
This is off Eli Ralph.
Ralph got his hand in there and broke up the play. It was a good play by Ralph, otherwise Kaiser has an easy layup. Olsen feeds it into Halama, to Braden. Over to Olsen, puts up the three. No, rebound chased down by Braden Romehill. Gets it out to Olsen, back over to Braden on the far side. Cross-court pass. They get it down underneath to Kaiser, and out of bounds. Fisher got in there and broke the play up, but ended up going out of bounds with it. Olsen inbound for the Bulldogs. Gets it out high to Braden. Over to Wielden, takes it down the baseline, and that was Halama, and it goes out of bounds, and it's off the foot of Ensminger.
They're still trying to go inside, and good job by Ralph and Ryan Nichols to kind of bottle it up.
Bulldogs inbound it, Halama with it, gets it out high, then to Olsen on the near side. Puts up the three, and he hit it. Braden Olsen with another three-pointer. Ensminger, high, wide, and left. Gets it over to Fisher, high, wide, and right. Then to the elbow to Nichols. Back over to Fisher on the right wing. No is the shot. Rebound taken down by Halama. Feeds it over to Olsen, coming down the floor. They're on the left side, trying the left side baseline. Wielden tries to put up a shot. Feeds it off to Kaiser, who puts it up and in. Kaiser got inside position, then just muscled his way up. Ensminger with it. Feeding it over to Fisher, then to Nichols from the free throw line, and it goes in.
Ryan Nichols was his first 2 points.
6:11 remaining. And down the floor come the Bulldogs, still in the backcourt. Finally feeding it to Braden Romehill in the forecourt. He's setting up traffic. Gets it to Kaiser, then over to Olsen from three-point land on the near side. Drives out to the baseline. 8-foot jumper rattles home. And we're going to get a timeout call by the Vikings as the Bulldogs are taking a 27-21 lead. 5:48 to go in the first half, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Austin and Nikki Pritchard are just what the doctor ordered. In fact, they are the doctors and they're ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
Back here at Boyceville High School. Vikings trailing by 6. 5:48 remaining. Vikings will inbound the ball. Ensminger to bring it down the floor. Taking it over to the far side, back out between the circles now to the near side to Yarrington. Back out high to Fisher. Over to Ensminger on the far wing. Back out high, and then to Ensminger again. Back to the top of the key now to Yarrington on the near side. To Fisher, to Nichols, trying to feed it down underneath, and the ball gets taken away down there by Halama. He gets it to Olsen, who brings it across the timeline for the Bulldogs. Feed it over, back out to Olsen, who put it up a 2.
Nick Olsen's getting the hot hand right now. He's got 10.
Or did they give him the 3? I think they gave him the 3 on that.
Okay.
30-21. Ensminger has it between the circles. Feeding it over to the far side to Fisher. Feeds it down to Yarrington, or to Ensminger, to Fisher. Tries to get it to Nichols. Nichols out to Yarrington. Over to Fisher. Fisher back to Yarrington. Yarrington puts up a 3. No, that won't go. And down the floor come the Bulldogs. That was Wielden on the rebound. Gets it to Olsen, who comes across the timeline. Over to the far side. They try to feed it down underneath to Wielden, and it got tipped out of bounds by Eli Ralph. Blake Johnson into the lineup for the Vikings.
Yeah, as the season goes along, Eli Ralph is understanding the game and how to play that defense.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about getting the steal or the block. Sometimes it's just breaking the play up, and if that means it goes out of bounds, so be it. Shot goes up by the Bulldogs, no good. It was a shot by Olsen from just outside the lane, was not good. Got knocked out of bounds on the rebound by the Vikings, and Olsen will inbound it for the Bulldogs. Gets it into Carson Romehill, out high to Halama. Then to Olsen, and a whistle, and...
I don't know if there's foul on Blake Johnson. Or 21.
Foul's going to be on Blake Johnson.
No.
It's not Blake Johnson.
I don't know who 14 is. 15.
Okay. Foul's going to be on Mason Yarrington. It's his first. 4th team foul on the Vikings. Olsen inbound it. Gets it out to Carson Romehill. Out high and then back to Olsen. And we have an offensive foul called on the Bulldogs.
I'm not sure if it was on Olsen.
It was on Carson Romehill.
Okay.
It's his first. That's also the 4th team foul on the Bulldogs with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Ensminger with it. Takes it over to the far side to Yarrington. Pops a 3, no. Rebound. Scramble 4 on the floor. And it's still loose. And they're going to call a jump ball possession arrow in favor of the Vikings.
Yeah, that's what I think about Ensminger. He's never afraid to get in there and mix it up. I mean, he got in there and got the turnover.
Johnson inbounds it, gets it out high, and then over to Ensminger on the near side. Ensminger feeds it to Johnson on the left wing. Back out between the circles to Ensminger. Ensminger to Fisher. Fisher drives into the lane, pulls up, it won't go.
That was good luck for Fisher.
The rebound was John Madison, and he gets it to Olsen, who comes across the timeline. Halama with it, back over to Olsen on the far side. He's high, wide, and left. Over to the left wing to Carson Romehill, back out high to Olsen.
Colfax in 2-3 zone. Something different.
Now to Carson, back out high to Olsen. Just under 3 minutes remaining. To Halama, to Olsen, to Carson, puts up the 3, it rattles around, no. Rebound chased down by Ensminger to Johnson. Feeds it down the floor to Yarrington. Gets it out to Ensminger, he puts up the 3, he hits the 3!
Yeah, good find.
Ensminger with the 3.
Good find by Mason Yarrington.
Down the floor come the Bulldogs, Halama. Has it, gets it over to Carson Romehill to Olsen on the left side. Offensive foul being called.
I think we're going to go on 25. Yep.
So that's a foul on John Madison. That'll be his first, I believe. 5th team foul.
Yeah, they got this little play going over there on the Colfax bench side. And that's a couple of calls over there now.
Ensminger takes it over to the far side, and officials calling a timeout.
Something with the clock?
I don't think so. I don't know why they stopped it.
He looked up at the clock for a second.
Yarrington to Fisher to Johnson on the near side. Back out between the circles to Ralph. Ralph feeds it over to Ensminger on the right wing. Ensminger drives the right baseline. Pops a jump shot and he hit it. Cuts the lead to 4.
9 points for Ensminger.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Down the floor come the Bulldogs. They get it out to Carson Romehill. Feeding it down low. That's Halama. Back out high to Carson. To Kaiser at the elbow. Now over to Olsen on the near side. Back to Kaiser. Then they feed it in to the baseline. Shot goes up and no good by Wielden. Vikings quickly down the floor. Pass gets intercepted. And down the floor comes Olsen. Pulls up. Puts it up, no good. Kaiser with the rebound. Puts it up off the glass and in. Ensminger with it. Vikings trail by 6. Over to Yarrington. Gets it to Fisher. Takes it down in the lane. Puts it up and good. And Drew the Harn. And the foul is going to be on Grant Kaiser.
That'll be his second then.
6th foul on the Bulldogs. Quickly checking in is John Madison, putting Kaiser down on the bench. They don't want him getting any more in the first half. Minute 3 to go. Fisher at the line for the +1. And that's good. 32-29, Vikings trail by 3. Bulldogs get it into the forecourt. Rydell with it. Now they feed it into the lane. Halama puts it up. It's no good. Whistle and a foul.
Foul's going to be on 23 for Colfax.
Blake Johnson. And it's going to put Halama to the line for 2. That's the 5th foul on the Vikings. First foul on Johnson. Halama's shot is up and no good.
Yeah, Halama's going to be the one that Colfax will have to watch now with Kaiser on the bench.
Second shot's on the way. That one's good. Vikings bring the ball down the floor. Under a minute remaining. Ensminger on the dribble between the circles. Gets it over to Johnson on the near side. Back over to Ensminger on the right. Takes it between the circles. Back to Johnson. Back to Ensminger. Wants Johnson to widen out. And he does.
Boyceville
in zone. On the left side.
Boyceville in zone.
Ensminger thought about a 3. Gets it to Fisher. Puts up the 3. No! Off the glass. Scramble on the floor, and what do we have called? Jump ball call. Boyceville will have the possession arrow. (33-29). Bulldogs inbound the ball. Get it down into the forecourt. This is Rydell. Tries to feed it into the lane. Can't make a completed pass, but it's picked up by Olsen. Couple seconds remaining. Olsen out of control, gets the shot off. It's no good, and we've reached halftime with the score. Boyceville Bulldogs 33, Vikings 29. Coming up right after this timeout is Viking halftime on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
To get your lawn or garden to perform and attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Hey, boss. Okay.
He said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really hard for me.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Eli Ralph, who's a senior here at Colfax High School. And Eli, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
Football.
Okay, and how'd football go for you this year?
Went all right.
Okay, you guys didn't come up with a whole lot of wins, but doggone it, you stayed close in a lot of games and made it exciting.
Yeah.
Had some fun?
Yeah.
All right, we know that, when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has that been for you?
Started in 4th grade, I think, and it's been an interesting experience.
Okay, what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
I don't know, work ethic, just hustle.
Nothing happens without hard work, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
I don't know, working, I don't know, riding 4-wheelers, snowmobiles, stuff like that.
Just being out and about and doing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got some rapid fire questions for you. These ones aren't tough. You know what they are already anyway. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Pie.
Which kind?
Banana.
Banana. Okay, I think you're the first one that said that. Okay. Hot dog, burger, or brats?
Burger.
And what do you want on that burger?
Mayo and onions.
Mayo and onions, okay. Your favorite color?
Green.
And is there a reason for that?
No.
No, just like green.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. If you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
I don't know, super speed.
Super speed, okay. And I could see in basketball how that could be an advantage. You get down the floor faster. Okay, as if Coach Knoll doesn't let you get down the court slowly anyway.
Right, yeah.
But if you have super speed as your superpower, you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what's Eli's superhero name?
I don't know.
All right.
Because I don't think of superhero names, but...
Okay, well, in which case, we just have to call you Eli, who goes really fast.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
Favorite college team?
Wisconsin.
All right. Is there a basketball player who has kind of influenced the way you play your game? And that can be at any level of the game, whether it's pro or high school or whatever.
Not really.
Not really. You just want to get out there and play.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. We're talking with Eli Ralph today on Viking Profile. And Eli, what are your plans for after high school?
I don't know. Go to college, kind of figure stuff out from there, I guess.
Okay, and you don't know for sure what area you're going to go into?
I mean, it's narrowed down a little bit, but not completely.
Nothing carved in stone yet?
No.
Okay. How about a shout out to the family?
Hi.
Short and classy, right?
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, we'll take that. When people come to watch Viking games, what number do you wear, and where are they going to find you on the floor?
33. I mean, somewhere around the block, probably.
Okay, very good. We want to thank Eli Ralph for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Eva Marie smoked 12
100,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
And we're back here at Boyceville High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petshaw. And we're getting ready to bring you second half action. But Dan, why don't you tell us how we got to the 33-29 score from the first half?
Yeah, here's the scores right now for the Bulldogs. They're led by number 4, Nick Olson. He has 11 points. We have Grant Kaiser with 8. We have John Madison with 2. We have Devin Halama with 7. And we have Carson Romhill with 6. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led right now by number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He has 9 points, followed by Aiden Fisher with 6. Eli Ralph has 6. Blake Johnson has 3. Ryan Nichols has 2. And Mason Yerington has 3. 33-29.
Okay, and it's been a pretty competitive game, and we'll have second half action right after this timeout on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Getting ready to start the second half. The Vikings will have the ball. And we'll be going from left to right. Vikings clad in their road red. Bulldogs are in their white, trimmed in blue. Actually, it's purple. It just looks blue from here. I think it's the fluorescent lights. Vikings in their red, trimmed in white. Now the Bulldogs are on the floor. Johnson will inbound for the Vikings, probably giving it to Ensminger, which he does. And Ensminger brings it across the timeline, and we're underway in the second half. To Fisher on the near side. Fisher takes it out high to Ensminger in the right corner. Now he's out on the right wing. Cross-court pass over to Johnson.
Bulldogs in man.
To Yarrington's Johnson from three. It's no good. Rebound taken down. That was by Romehill, Braden Romehill. To Olsen across the timeline, standing on the Bulldog on the left wing.
Colfax in zone.
They feed it into the lane to Kaiser, drives and puts it up. It goes off, no good. Kaiser gets his own rebound and puts it up and in.
Good second effort by Kaiser.
Ensminger with it on the left side. Back out high to Fisher. Fisher drives down the right side of the lane. Out to Yarrington, puts up the three, and he hit the three. Mason Yarrington with a three.
2 threes for him tonight.
Olsen on the dribble. Gets it out to Braden Romehill, to Kaiser. Kaiser's pass is intercepted by Johnson, and we're going to get a foul called. Foul is being called on Grant Kaiser, and that's number 3 on him.
Yeah, kind of a frustration foul.
Fisher with it. Gets it over to Ensminger at the right baseline. Out high to Johnson. Johnson to the free throw line, out to Ensminger. Ensminger takes it over to the left side. Turns around, puts it up. No. Rebound taken down by Halama. Halama comes down the floor across the timeline. Feeds it down into the left corner to Olsen. Olsen dribbles out to the Bulldogs' head. Now they feed it to the free throw line to Kaiser. Back out to Braden Romehill, to Olsen, and then down to Halama. And the pass is out and into the backcourt, picked up by the Vikings. Yarrington putting up a three off the front of the glass, or off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound, and we're going to get a jump ball call. Viking fans thought it was a foul.
Yeah, I kind of agree with them. Aiden Fisher had his back to the guy who got the jump ball with him.
So Olsen on the dribble right through the center B. Over to Braden Romehill, down to the baseline to Halama. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound taken out of there by Johnson for the Vikings. Vikings trail by 3. Out to Fisher. Takes it into the lane, puts it up, and we're going to whistle, and he got fouled going up. So Fisher at the line for 2. First shot on the way. It's good. Vikings trailing by 3. 35-32. Back into the lineup is Grant Kaiser for the Bulldogs. Fisher puts the second one up, and it's good. Vikings trailing by 1. Bulldogs with the ball. Carson Romehill across the timeline, feeds it over to Olsen on the far side. Into the lane to Wielden, puts the shot up, it's no good. Rebound is out of bounds.
Another
tried to save it, but he got his foot on the baseline.
Another good job by number 33, Eli Ralph. Got his hand in the face and created a turnover.
Johnson going to inbound for the Vikings. Ensminger on the dribble. Takes it over to the right side, down to the baseline, puts it up, no good. Rebound, and coming down on top of Ensminger, and we have a pile up of bodies down on the floor.
I gotta guess it'll be following 22.
And it is. The foul is on Devin Halama.
Kind of just got caught in midair on top of Ensminger.
That's his first, but that's a third foul on the Bulldogs. Vikings inbound the ball to Ensminger, puts the shot up, it's good! Vikings take the lead, and Elijah Ensminger is gonna go to the line. Vikings on top, 36-35.
Strong drive there by Ensminger. He's got 11.
And we have a timeout on the floor. Vikings have taken their first lead of the game, 15 minutes remaining. 36-35, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining?
Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Doctors Austin and Nikki Pritchard and their staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
We're back here at Boyceville High School. Vikings have finally taken a lead.
Shout out to our Michigan watchers tonight. Thanks for tuning in.
Another state to color in on the map. The great state of Michigan.
It's not Jim Harbaugh either.
Ensminger's free throw is good. The Vikings up by 2, 37-35. Carson Romehill over to Braden Romehill, back to Carson. Carson tries to feed it down in the corner, and the pass is stolen by Fisher, and he stepped out of bounds. And Fisher saying he didn't step out of bounds, that he swung his foot over the sideline, but didn't step. I'm not so sure. Still good defense by the Vikings. Braden Romehill with it between the circles, feeds it over to the near side to Carson. He's on the dribble, takes it back out high, feeds it into the lane. Vikings take it away down the floor. Ensminger gets it, feeds it to Ralph, lays it up and puts it in the hole. Eli Ralph with the 2. Vikings on top, 39-35. Braden Romehill with it to Halama. Back to Romehill. Feeds it down underneath to Halama. Halama turns around, puts it up, and no. Ralph with the rebound. And a reaching foul going to be called on Halama. He can't believe it, but yeah, it was there.
That'll be his second.
And the 15th foul on the Bulldogs. Vikings have 0. Yarrington to inbound. Sends it in to Ensminger in the backcourt. Comes across the timeline over on the left side. Gets it to Johnson down in the corner. Dribbles back out high to the free throw line. Gets it over to Ralph. Puts up a 3. Eli Ralph with a 3.
11 points for Ralph.
42-35. Vikings up by 7. At the free throw line, it's Madison with it. Tries to feed it down low to Kaiser, and it's knocked out of bounds by Johnson.
Yeah, Ralph's game has really improved here in the last 2-3 games.
Ball gets inbounded to Rydell, then out high to Romehill. Carson Romehill from the corner puts it up, no good. Grant Kaiser puts the shot up, it's no good, but a whistle and a foul. Foul's on Fisher.
His second.
First team foul on the Vikings in this half. And Grant Kaiser at the line. His free throw is on the way. It's no good. Maybe he's a lot like Shaq. Can't shoot free throws. I bet he can shoot better than Shaq did.
Got to shoot one-handed.
And he didn't make either one of them, though. Rebound gets chased down in the corner by the Bulldogs, and they try to feed it out, but it gets taken away by Ensminger. Feeds it down the floor to Yarrington, who lays it up and puts it in. 44-35, Vikings on a run.
8 points for Yarrington.
Carson Romehill Down to Madison. Ball gets knocked out of bounds off of Ralph. So Carson Romehill to inbound for the Vikings. And checking in is Peter Wielden. He's going to replace John Madison for the Bulldogs. Carson inbounds it, gets it into Rydell on the near side. Gets it out high to Braden Romehill. Over to Carson on the far side to Braden at the top of the key. This is Rydell with it, out to Braden between the circles. To Carson on the right wing. Back out high to Braden, and down they get it into the lane to Wielden. Turnaround jumper's no good. Kaiser with a putback, and he got it to go.
Kaiser's got 12.
Ensminger with it. Between the circles. Feeds it over to Fisher. Weaves back the other way. To Ralph. Takes it to the free throw line. Gets it out to Yarrington. Thought about the three. Pulls back out. Over to Ensminger on the right wing. Ensminger drives to the elbow. Puts it up. No good. Rebound being fought for on the floor. Finally coming away with it is Kaiser. They feed it down to Rydell, who gets it out to Romehill. That's Braden over to Carson Romehill on the near side. To Wielden, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul in the lane.
I think it'll be a little hip check by 33.
Eli Ralph. That's his first personal. Second team foul on the Vikings. And the Vikings inbound, or Bulldogs inbound the ball. And shot, long three is no good. Wielden gets the ball, puts it back up, no good. Rebound, Carson Romehill over to Grant Kaiser. He puts it up and in. Ensminger across the timeline, and the Vikings want to talk about it. 44-39, Vikings on top, 11:42, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Let Menominee Eye and Optical help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comro provide both comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract and LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eye care for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, located at 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality, personalized care for you and your family.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Back here at Boyceville High School, Vikings with a 5-point lead, 44-39 over the Boyceville Bulldogs. Vikings with the ball. Johnson with it, gets it to Ensminger in the backcourt. Ensminger across the timeline, feeds it to Ralph at near the free throw line. Over to Fisher on the near side, takes it to the top of the key, drives down the side of the lane, gets it back out to Yarrington, who dribbles it back out high. Over to Johnson. Johnson takes it to the lane, puts a shot up, and it won't go. Rebound, knocked out of bounds off of Ralph. Halama gets it into Carson Romehill, back to Halama, back to Carson, still in the backcourt. Over to Kaiser, high, wide, and left. Down onto the left baseline, shot going up by Rydell, and it's no good. Rebound taken down by Johnson. Ensminger with it, gets it over to Fisher, puts up the shot, no good. Rebound, and it's Viking ball. Last touched, I think, by Carson Romehill. Coach Knoll urging his players to execute, which they proceeded to not do because the pass got intercepted by Kaiser. Gets it over to Carson Romehill on the near side. Cross-court pass over to Halama. Halama then down to Wielden, back to Halama, drives down, puts it up and in, and he's going to get the foul as well. He drew the foul on Eli Ralph. It's going to be the second foul on Ralph.
Yeah, he just took it at Eli Ralph. And
so Kaiser has cut the Viking lead to 3, and he's at the line for the +1. Or not Kaiser, Halama. The +1 is up, it's good. So Vikings lead has been cut to 2, 44 to 42, 10:30 remaining in the game.
Yeah, they need to settle down and get a shot right here.
Ryan Nichols in the game for the Vikings. Fisher with it, takes it to the lane, kicks it back out to Yarrington, top of the key. Still on the dribble. Now feeds it to Ralph, out to Fisher. Fisher to the top of the key, drives down the lane. Gets it out to Yarrington, thought about the 3 to Ensminger, who also thought about a 3 but didn't take it. Comes to the free throw line, drives into the lane, puts it up. No, he overlaid it. Rebound, and we're going to get a jump ball called.
That's one thing about Ensminger. He plays whistle to whistle.
He got in there with a guy that's a good head and shoulders taller than he is, and he held his own. Pass comes into Ensminger, shot goes up and short. Kaiser with the rebound. Gets it to Olsen, who brings it down the floor. Bulldogs looking to tie or take a lead. Feeding it over to the right side to Halama, back to the left side to Carson Romehill, to Braden Romehill from the elbow, puts it up. No, rebound by Kaiser, and the shot they're gonna get a foul called
on who?
On Nichols.
Okay.
First personal, 4th team foul on the Vikings. It's going to put Kaiser to the line for 2. It's too bad because the shot was blocked.
Yeah, that was a good job by Ensminger.
First free throw is up and good. Kaiser cuts the Viking lead to 1. Second shot on the way. That one's off the back of the iron. Rebound slapped around and finally picked up by Fisher to Ralph. And quickly to Ensminger, takes it down into the lane. Puts a shot up and it rattles home.
Tough shot.
It's been a little while since the Vikings put one in the hole. That one's a good one.
14 points.
43.
14 points for Ensminger.
Carson Romehill gets it to Olsen at the free throw line. Into the lane. Shot got blocked. The shot was blocked by Orion Nichols and then tapped out of bounds by the Bulldogs. It'll be Viking ball. 9:10 remaining. Vikings up by 3. Ensminger on the dribble. Ensminger takes it to the right side, gets it out to Fisher, puts up a 3. No, rebound into the hands of Yarrington. Cross-court pass over to Fisher. He's on the near side. He's high, wide, and right. Takes it between the circles to the left elbow. Pulls up. No. Eli Ralph with the putback, and he got it to go.
13 points for Eli Ralph.
48-43, Vikings on top. Carson Romehill gets it to Halama, to Kaiser, and the ball's out of bounds. Last touched by Ralph. Inbounding the ball is Olsen. He feeds it into Carson Romehill. Over to Olsen at the free throw line. Takes it to the lane. Jump shot is up, and that one goes in. Olsen with the shot. Ensminger takes it over to the far side. He's still on the dribble. At the free throw line, lost the handle, but gets it back, gets it to Yarrington. To Ralph, drives to the baseline and puts it in. 50-45, the Vikings are on top. Eli Ralph with the basket. Olsen has it on the far side. They get it down to the baseline to Madison. Shot goes up, no good. Madison gets a rebound, puts it up and gets it in. Ensminger on the dribble. He's on the left side, he's on the wing. Feeds it down low to Ralph. Oh, he thought somebody would be on the wing, turned around with a no-look pass, and maybe he should have looked.
Yeah, and he had a mismatch. If he would have turned around, number 4, Nick Olsen was on him, he could have had just a little jump shot.
He thought somebody was going to be down in that corner, and nobody was home. Carson Romehild with it, feeds it down to Olsen at the free throw line, down into the corner to Halama, puts up a 3, no. Ralph with the rebound. Ball's loose on the floor, and we're going to get a foul being called on John Madison. And this should put the Vikings into the 1-1.
6 fouls or 7?
I thought that was number 7, but maybe I'm wrong. Scoreboard says 6. It's the second foul on Madison. Kaiser back in.
Madison sits down with 4 points so far.
Ensminger brings it up the floor, across the timeline, over to the right wing to Fisher. Fisher drives to the free throw line, gets it out to Nichols. Nichols to Johnson between the circles. Johnson to Ensminger. Ensminger out to the center circle. He's standing in the Bulldog B. Ensminger drives down the right side of the lane, puts it up and in and out, no good. Rebound, last touch by the Bulldogs. Kalama is the last one who touched it. It's going to be Viking ball on the baseline.
Kovacs has to make sure they get this in.
Ryan Nichols gets it into Ensminger. High, wide, and left. Takes it between the circles. Back over to the left side, puts up a 3. It's off the front of the iron, no good. Right into the hands of Olsen. Quickly down the floor. Turns and waits for traffic to come down and join him. Braden Romehill with the ball, high, wide, and right. Over to Olsen on the left side, down to Carson Romehill, back out to Olsen. Olsen with it to Carson. Carson over to Braden. Back to Carson, the Romehill brothers playing catch. Feeding it down to the elbow to Kaiser. Kaiser out to Braden. Shot goes up from 3, no. Putback is up and in. That was by Halama. And it's a 1-point lead for the Vikings.
12 points for Halama.
Ensminger on the dribble. Brings it over to the right side. Back out high to Ralph. To Johnson. Feeding it down low to Nichols. Nichols feeds it back out to Johnson. Fisher with it. Takes it down the lane. Kicks it back out to Ensminger. Ensminger puts up the jumper. In and out, no good. Rebound taken down by Halama, and the Bulldogs looking to take a lead with 4:59 remaining. Halama with it, gets it out to Olsen. Olsen, double teamed out high, gets it over on the far side to Braden Romehill, to Kaiser, then to Halama. He put up the 2, and we get a timeout being called as the Bulldogs take a 1-point lead. 4:38 remaining, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood. Hi, I'm Crystal, one of Santa's elves. Santa wanted to talk with you about a special program coming up on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. But as you can see, he's pretty busy right now, so we better not disturb him. So I'll tell you what's up. A little earlier, Santa and I got together and picked out some of the very best holiday-themed old-time radio programs, and we're going to present them to you during Santa's flight on Christmas Eve. So tune in to the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service or NLWN TV while Santa and I bring you the best in old-time radio. It all starts at 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve. I'll see you then.
Back here at Boyceville High School, Vikings trailing by 1. Colby Dotseth, the head coach of the Boyceville Bulldogs, having some words with the officials on the far side.
Colfax has to find a way to get into Eli Ralph.
Vikings have it on the far side to Johnson, gets it out to Ralph on the top of the key. To Ensminger, drives the baseline, feeds it back out to Ralph, and we're going to get a foul called.
Now they're in the bonus.
So Ensminger goes to the line. The foul was on Braden Romehill. It's his third. First shot by Ensminger off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound tipped around, goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Vikings. Fisher couldn't get his hands on it. Ralph couldn't get his hands on it, and then it goes out of bounds. Braden Romehill on the dribble. Gets it over to Carson. Carson on the dribble on the left side. Gets it down to the left corner to Halama. To Kaiser. Out to Olsen. Three-pointer on the way. Shot's no good. Rebound. Chased down by Fisher. Vikings have it as they come across the timeline. Fisher on the right side. Gets it to Yarrington. Puts up a three. He hit the three. The Vikings go back on top. 53 to 51.
Season high for Yarrington. 11 points.
Across the timeline come the Bulldogs. They got it over on the right wing. That's Braden Romehill. Feeds it down to the corner to Halama. Drives the baseline. And we're going to get a pushing foul. I think it's going to be on Ralph. It is. A foul on Ralph.
His third.
And the 15th foul on the Vikings. Bulldogs get the ball in. Braden Romehill with it on the right side down to Carson down in the right corner. Gets it stolen away, then he gets it right back again. They try to feed it down low, and it's out of bounds, and it went off the Vikings.
They're going to talk about it.
Yeah, they're going to discuss this a little bit.
I think it is Boyceville ball.
And the inbound by Olsen. Gets it into Braden, to Carson. Feeds it to the elbow to Kaiser, over to Halama. Shot's no good. Putback is no good. Coming down with the rebound is Fisher to Johnson, and the Vikings bring it down the floor with a 2-point lead. 3 minutes remaining. Fisher with the ball.
They can take a little time off the clock here.
Takes it on the near side. To Ensminger, free throw line jumper, no, off the front of the iron. Halama with the rebound. He takes down the right side, over to Carson Romehill. Out high to Olsen. Olsen to Kaiser, to Carson Romehill, rebound taken down by Fisher. Fisher having a good night on the board, and we're going to get a whistle and
22.
a foul.
Fouls on 22.
That's Devin Halama. That's his third. 8th team foul. It's going to send Fisher to the line for the 1-on-1. Kaiser coming out. Wielden going in for the Bulldogs. Fisher's shot is up, rattles around, no good. Rebound, battled around, and coming away with it is Olsen. Olsen at the top of the key, gets it over to Halama. Halama drives, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Johnson. Johnson brings it down the floor, feeds it over to the right side to Fisher, back out high to Johnson. Johnson to Ensminger on the left. High, wide, and left. Being guarded there by Halama. Takes it to the top of the key, feeds it over to Fisher. Fisher drives down the left side of the lane, and he's going to get a foul called against Braden Romehill.
Should be his fourth.
It's going to put Fisher at the line for the 1-on-1.
These are big free throws right here.
That's the 9th foul on the Bulldogs. Means from here on out, the Vikings will have 2. First shot's up and good. This one's a big one. Would make it a 2-score game with just under 2 minutes remaining. Shot is up, no good. Rebound taken down by Wielden, and they get it over to Olsen. Olsen feeds it over to the right side to Braden, and gets it back to Halama, puts up a 3, and he hit it. And we're tied at 54, minute 40 remaining, and a timeout on the floor. 1:40 remaining, and we're tied at 54 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Friday, December 15th, when the Vikings will host the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Friday, December 15th.
And we're back here at Boyceville High School. All tied with a minute 40 remaining at 54 apiece. Vikings trailed most of the first half. They've led most of the second half. And the Vikings will have the ball. Blake Johnson to inbound. Sends it into Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger through the Bulldog B. Over to the right side. Takes it back out between the circles. Feeds it to Fisher over on the left. He's high, wide, and left. Over to Yarrington on the right. Top of the key. Over to the left free throw line extended to Ensminger. To Fisher. On the right side. Top of the key. Now over to the left side to Yarrington.
Let's see if they hold for 1.
That's a little early, I would think, but Yarrington on the dribble. 1 minute remaining. Ralph thought about driving. Gets it out to Fisher. Fisher out to Ensminger. Coming up on 45 seconds remaining. Ensminger drives, lays it up, puts it in! Elijah Ensminger with the 2. 56-54, Vikings on top. 35 seconds remaining. Carson Romehill over to Braden Romehill. To Halama, to Kaiser. Kaiser drives, puts it up, and ties it back up at 56 with 23 seconds remaining. Vikings with the ball. Ensminger across the timeline.
Let's see if they set up something for Ensminger. They got kind of a mismatch right now.
10 seconds remaining.
They got a mismatch.
And we have a 5-second call against Ensminger.
I don't know about that because he was moving.
but he did not penetrate. He was moving back and forth. You got to move toward the basket at some point. And we have a timeout on the floor. We're tied at 56 with 6.3 seconds remaining. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV is excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School girls basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season. Our next game will be on Thursday, December 14th, when the Vikings will host the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Thursday, December 14th.
We're back here at Boyceville, and Dan, you were just saying, if you were Boyceville with 6.3 seconds, the obvious play is feed it to Kaiser.
Yeah, just get him on the block, throw it into him, and he's got about a 4-inch advantage on Ralph.
And let him go to work.
I would say for Colfax, they're going to have to double team, maybe even triple team.
And you got to be careful because they're good shots from the outside. We're tied at 56, 6.3 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's the Kaiser-Halama show tonight, so they got to be aware of those two are right now.
Braden Romehill gets it into Olsen, and we get a whistle and a foul.
Yeah, we don't want to put him to the line.
That's the 6th foul on the Vikings. That was the one to give in case they needed it. Yarrington was the foul. Get it in. Romehill puts it up, and we get bonus basketball tonight. We're going to have overtime on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, and we'll be back with that right after this timeout.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Back here at Boyceville High School, and as we said, we've got some bonus basketball coming your way. We're heading to overtime, a 4-minute overtime coming up for the Vikings. Dan, real quickly, how many points does Grant Kaiser have?
17 right now. Halama has 17.
So they both have 17.
Yeah, and for both teams, you got to get it in the hands of your good players right now. For the Bulldogs, I'd make sure Halama and Kaiser get the ball. And also for the Vikings, I'd get in Ensminger. And I would say Ensminger and Aiden Fisher.
Ensminger going to jump center. The only other time you get a jump ball in basketball anymore, other than the opening tip-off, is going into overtime. He's jumping against Halama, and Halama controls the tip. Ensminger almost stole the tip away from Kaiser, but the Bulldogs have it. And they get it over to the far side to Carson Romehill. Back out high to Braden, to Olsen, high, wide, and left. Olsen down into the left corner from Halama. Shot's no good. Rebound, chased down by Fisher.
That was a good look by Halama.
Fisher with it at the top of the key. Takes it down the left side of the lane, tries to put it up. It got away from him and into the hands of Halama. And down the floor he comes. He's high, wide, and right. Feeds it
Somebody's got to
between
be
the
aware of
circles to Romehill.
Somebody's got to wear Kaiser.
To Carson Romehill. To Olsen at the elbow. Back out to Carson on the right or left side. To Olsen in the lane, feeding it, and layup and in. by Braden Romehill. 58-56, under 3 minutes remaining. Boyceville on top. Ensminger on the dribble. Ensminger, top of the key, puts up the shot, he hit it. We're tied again at 58. 2:42 remaining.
18 for Ensminger.
Carson Romehill feeds it over to Braden Romehill. Back to Carson, ball gets stolen by Fisher. Fisher tries a wraparound dribble, lost the handle on it, and Halama comes away.
Probably one he should have pulled out and waited for the team.
Braden Romehill with it, high, wide, and right. Gets it over to Carson, high, wide, and left. Cross-court pass over to Braden. Feeds it down low to Kaiser. Tries to go up with it. He got fouled.
Let's see if they get out.
By Ralph.
Ralph, or they do, I think.
That's the 4th foul on Ralph. 7th team foul. It's going to put Kaiser to the line for the 1-on-1. Grant Kaiser at the line. Shot goes up, and it's good. 59-58, 2:08 remaining. Kaiser gets his second shot. .64 senior Grant Kaiser. And nothing but net that time. 60-58, Bulldogs by 2. Ensminger, right through the center circle. Takes it down the right side of the lane. Feeds it over to Fisher, puts up a 3. He hit the 3! Putting the Vikings on top, 61-60. Minute 50 to go.
12 for Fisher.
Romehill to Romehill. Carson with it between the circles. Over to Braden. To Olsen at the left elbow, puts a shot up and it went in. Off balance shot, he just kind of flung it up there and it went through. 62-61, under a minute and a half to go. Bulldogs on top of the Vikings.
They're going to ISO Ensminger.
Ensminger is directing some traffic. He's between the circles. Drives down the lane, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul. Foul is on Halama. That's his 4th, I think.
On Halama? His 4th.
First shot is up and in for Ensminger. He's in the double bonus. I think they got it as a shooting foul anyway. Second shot is up, and it rattles home.
20 points for Ensminger.
And a timeout on the floor. With the score, Vikings 63, Bulldogs 62. 1:13 remaining in overtime as you're tuned to Viking football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
.113 remaining in the overtime. Vikings 63, Boyceville Bulldogs 62. Bulldogs with the ball. Carson Romehill on the dribble. Coming through the backcourt.
Yeah, now Colfax has to be aware of number 4.
They get it to Olsen. Olsen lobs it in to Kaiser. Lost the handle and the Vikings come away with it. They feed it over to Yarrington to Ensminger. Under a minute to go. Vikings up by 1. Ensminger across the timeline.
Oh yeah, let's see if Boyceville fouls.
Double team and a timeout called by the Vikings. Ensminger got caught in a bit of a trap, and Coach Noel called the timeout, and we'll take one as well, as you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Back at Boyceville High School, Vikings up by 1. They have the ball. 45.6 seconds remaining. Johnson to inbound it to Ensminger in the backcourt.
See if they ISO again.
Get it to Fisher, to Johnson between the circles. Takes it over to the left side to Fisher, high, wide, and left, back out to Johnson. Johnson takes it over to the right side. Down into the corner to Ralph. He's got the baseline. Feeds it over to Yarrington.
They're going to make a foul.
Ensminger to Yarrington. Back out to Johnson. Johnson over to Fisher. 17 seconds and a whistle and a foul. That's a foul on Grant Kaiser. Is that it for him? No, that's 4 on him. 4. But Fisher is going to go to the line. 4-2. Aiden Fisher. First shot is up, and it goes in. 64-62. Vikings by 2. Again, a big free throw here.
Yeah.
It's on the way, and it's good. Vikings by 3 with 15.9 remaining. Carson Romehill with it down the floor. And a timeout being called by the Boyceville Bulldogs on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. And Dan, take a real quick look there while we're going to keep it here for a minute. Aiden Fisher, how is he doing from the line?
Aiden Fisher is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's 6 for 8.
6 for 8. 75% shooter from the line, and comparing that to his season average, that's about the same. He's a 74% shooter on the season from the free throw line.
Yeah, I would guess right now that Boyceville's setting up something. Either I would guess for Halama or number 4, Nick Olson. We did see Braden Romehill get it one shot, but Nick Olson's got 3 threes tonight. So
he's the threat from out there.
Yeah.
And Halama's no slouch from out there.
Right.
He's got
2 threes.
2, okay.
And
Carson Romehill has a couple of 2s as well.
Yeah, let's see if they bring in Carson. They do.
They've got a lot of options here. So Romehill to inbound the ball. 13.4 seconds remaining.
Colfax has just to make sure nobody gets a good look at a 3.
And don't foul anybody taking a 3.
Yeah, correct.
Olsen down to Carson Romehill on the right side. Gets it to Braden Romehill in the corner. He's tied up down there.
We got a foul.
And 8.
What do we got? Timeout?
Timeout being called by Boyceville. They were kind of trapped over there in the corner. And we will take one as well on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Back here at Boyceville, Dan almost asked the fatal question. 2.1 seconds remaining, and he wanted to know if he should start totaling up scores. And I said, absolutely not.
Put that pen down.
Boyceville will have the ball when they get back on the floor here. Vikings lead by 3. Like we said, 2.1 seconds remaining. Vikings looking to even their conference record at 1-1. Carson Romehill inbound. They don't have a lot of time, but there is enough.
I would guess they're going to get into Hama. They can't.
Comes into Olsen. Olsen puts up the shot. It's no good, and the game is over. The Vikings come out on top, 65-62 in an overtime thriller from Boyceville High School. And we're going to have all the details for you on Viking postgame, and that'll be coming up right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction in part or in whole in any form without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network, LLC, and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the
type. No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
And we're back here at Boyceville High School waiting for Viking head coach Mark Knoll, who is working his way over. He's getting stopped by a lot of Viking fans right now. And here he comes. And Coach, I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted.
Yes, I need a shower. I know that as much as the players do. I can tell you that.
Hey, they worked very hard tonight and just kept scrapping. It kind of fell behind a little bit in the first half, and they didn't let it get away from them.
Yeah, they didn't get down. You know what I mean? They kept fighting. They got down by 9, I think it was, and we didn't let the world come to an end. We found a way to keep fighting in the second half. We must have jumped out to like a 9-0 run or something like that, and that was the difference in the game. That was huge.
It was huge, and it was like a tale of two halves. Vikings trailed most of the first half, kept scrapping though, and you could see there was something brewing, but then in the second half, the Vikings led most of the way. Doggone it, they let them tie it at 56 at the end of regulation, and there's nothing wrong with bonus basketball.
I felt like, give a lot of respect to Boyceville. In the first half, they made a bunch of threes.
Yes.
And that was the difference in the game. I told our boys at halftime, if we can defend the three, they made 6 in the first half. If we can defend the three, we'll slowly get back into this game. And that's kind of what we did. We started taking away the three-point shot.
In fact, Dan, you got it right there in front of you. What, they only hit 1-3 in the second half?
Yeah, 1-3 in the second half.
And with overtime, too, so that was the difference right there.
Right, and holy cow. Yes, Kaiser got his points. He's a huge body under there. I thought you were exaggerating when we were talking in the coach's corner, but he's a big body down there, and he knows how to use it down underneath.
Yeah, he's a strong kid, and he's got soft hands, you know, for his size. So when he gets the ball in his hands, it's probably 2 points if he gets it that low. And I still think we did a good job. I don't know what he ended up with.
19.
19, that's not
well,
bad.
That's below his average.
He's right about where he's averaging, you know. So I'm very proud of the boys to play hard and play win and to win one on the road. That was just our, I think, 4th or 5th game in a row on the road. So it feels good to get one.
Well, you get some home cooking coming up later this week on Friday when you get to play host to, well, it doesn't get any easier because you got the Spring Valley Cardinals coming in, and they're a handful.
Yeah, they're a very good team. They've got a lot of kids back from last year's team, so they have a lot of experience. It should be a good game. I'm hoping that it's a good game. I think if I've got a lot of respect for Spring Valley. They're a good team, good coach team.
Well, and if your boys come out and scrap like they did tonight and just put their noses in there and grab everything they can get their hands on, regardless of the final outcome, it's going to be an exciting basketball game.
We got more rebounds tonight, and that was the difference in the
Eli
game.
Ralph.
Speaking of that, not only Eli Ralph, but Aiden Fisher had a game and a half on the boards tonight, it seemed like.
And that was the difference by us getting, by being in that zone that helped us with our rebounding. And that was the key. That's what we talked about.
And boy, they were just hustling for those rebounds. And that, you're right, that made a huge difference because all of a sudden the ball was coming back down the floor and the Vikings had the ball.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys always. Love that you guys do this for the Colfax community. I really appreciate that. I love it, Rick. And all you guys, thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Well, congratulations on the 65-62 overtime win, and we'll be back with more Viking postgame right after this timeout on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age.
Who did you steal them from?
Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Confusion with time and place may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Mom, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
Back here at Boyceville High School, Viking post-game where the Vikings come out on top 65-62 in overtime to defeat the Boyceville Bulldogs. And Dan, why don't you fill us in on how we got to that final score?
Yeah, here's the scores for Boyceville. They're led by number 32, Grant Kaiser, had 19. Devin Halama had 17. Nick Olson had 15. Carson Romehill had 6. John Madison had 4. And Braden Romehill had 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led by number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He had 20 points, followed by Eli Ralph with 15. We had Aiden Fisher with 14. And then we had Blake Johnson with 3. And we had Ryan Nichols with 2 and Mason Yarrington with 11.
That's a big day for Mason Yarrington.
Yeah, I think that's season high so far this year.
You're right, that's his season high. I think his season high going into tonight was 9. So a big night for the Vikings, a big win for the Vikings, 65-62. And you had said something about their free throw shooting tonight, 10 for 14.
10 for 14.
Vikings. That's 71% from the line, and at the high school level, that's a good night of free throw shooting.
Yeah, Aiden Fisher and Ensminger towards the end made some crucial free throws to help get the win.
Well, as we mentioned, we'll have some more Viking boys basketball for you coming up on Friday. So join us here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Friday the 15th as the Viking boys take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage is going to begin with Viking pregame beginning at approximately 6:40 p.m. and that'll be followed by all the play-by-play action. That's Viking Boys Basketball on Friday, December 15th. Don't forget the girls. That's coming up on Thursday on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV, as the Viking girls will take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame, again at about 6:40, followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball on Thursday evening on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Hey, don't forget to make your plans to tune into either the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service or NLWN TV for our Christmas gift to you 2023. We'll bring you the finest in Christmas-themed old-time radio programs. That's Christmas Eve beginning at 7 p.m. on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Tonight's Colfax Viking Boys Basketball game has been brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Doctors Austin and Nikki Pritchard and their friendly staff take care of your pet. C&K Construction, your concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who've been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical, with quality personalized care for you and your family. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food, the way Mom used to make it. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. So, for Chris Olson on the camera, Dan Petschow being my right-hand man, and again, you are on my right side tonight. How about that? This is Rick Olson. That final score once again in overtime. Vikings 65, Boyceville Bulldogs 62. You've been tuned to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.